Hello everyone and welcome back to Owner Time. If you haven't watched the first video, well, you don't really need to. These are basically standalone, but this is where I work through some of the tasks I have for Empire War with you, so you can have a look behind the scenes at what I do specifically. You can see I've got a load more tasks since last time, and I've also divided up my tasks into lists to help with management, etc. So without further ado, let's get going on some of these tasks. So what I'm first going to do here is try and categorize these and improve the naming of them. So they're basically named in a completely random, irrational way, because whenever I realize I have to do something, or someone messages me, or I read an interesting suggestion, I just write it down immediately. So what I'm going to do right now is categorize these like bug, class, resource pack, etc., so I can better understand what I want to do at the moment, and I'll also order them in order of importance. Okay, so I've organized them around a little bit. I lied, I said I did them by importance. I've actually categorized them just by the subcategory. I've actually done some of these already over the past few days, so this I haven't quite done yet, so I'll move that down. I've given World Edit to mod, so that's done. I've halved Max's repairs. So one thing, basically max a bug abuse to get extra repairs, and one thing we do in this case is, as well as giving out a punishment in terms of mute or a ban, we also can edit your stats. So if you've been kill farming, we can remove your kill streak or remove kills. If you've been repair farming, we can remove your repairs. If you've been heal farming, we can remove your heals. So that's just another little warning to make sure that you stick by the rules. Sorry, that sounded a little threatening. It wasn't meant to be. Look into updating to 1.15. I've looked into this. The plugin we use, Script, it has some major changes in the later versions, and I really don't have the time to deal with that. It's okay in 1.13. The only main reason we might want to update is to keep ahead of hacked clients, but if we really wanted to do that, we'd update to 1.14. Since, as far as I'm aware, very few hacked clients operate on 1.14, but honestly, it's not that big of an issue to me, so I'm just going to dismiss that now. I've looked into it, and I won't. So, let's have a look at some of these then. This Goliath, earlier today, me and the Ferris Cat, one of our builders, edited the bridge area, meaning it's much easier to get past the sort of bottleneck. Because at the moment, if, let's say, there are 3 or 4 archers and a mage or 2 on Gondor team, if the player count is quite low, then it's effectively impossible to proceed past the bridge. So what we did was we added a few extra boats, etc. I'll show you them in a little bit. I'd like to change the transition between the bridge and the main part of the map, because at the moment it's really clunky. So I'll have a look at doing that later. Lake Town, the first flag gatehouse, is incredibly hard to get past on high player counts. Great Halls, there are 2 issues here. Great Stairs, I'm not satisfied with. And the 20th hall flag is I deeply dislike, so we'll look at changing that. So moving on to mechanics now, leap I feel is far too large. It's effectively better than mage jump, which is not right in my view. Some of you will remember on V1 when you typed /game, it showed you how many players were on each team, which is very useful, so you don't need to count and tab. This is just a little thing, so you'll know when you slay a Nazgul, it says Nazgul slain by a player. I'm just going to want to add that for heroes as well. And along with that, the ability for staff to give players the Nazgul class if they wish. This was on here last week, or however many days ago I last did this. Just a little extra bonus for killing wolves. Maybe 0.25 is a bit much. I might set that to 0.1. I'll have a think about that. Gates, I'll probably do this off camera because it's you don't want to know what it's like, basically. Axe Thrower, this doesn't actually have anything assigned to it. No, various reported issues. Yeah, I'll look at this another day. It's quite a complex topic. Torture, yes. I've already reduced the fire on impacts from 3 seconds to 1 second. I'm not sure if I announced that. But I'd like to look into reducing the hit damage it does on impact and turning the torch into literally a torch rather than a combination of a sort of a rock and a torch, which is what it is at the moment. Archer well, this is more like a bug, actually. You can't restock food, which is fairly game-breaking. And then we'll look at the rest of this a little bit later. So what I think I'm going to do first, just to ease me into this, is have a look at Lake Town and Great Halls, just do some map edits and see what I can do. So I'll see you there in game in just a minute. So here we are in game. There are a few people online. Let's just wait for the texture pack to load. Oh, I think I disabled resource packs. I hope you'll forgive me. Just, I suppose we may as well do the classic. There you get to see a sneak peek into the staff chat. Anyway, what were we going to do? Yes, have a look at Lake Town and Great Halls. Let's have a look at what map it is at the moment. Tirith, okay, Halls of Moria is fairly soon, so I think I'm going to start off with... Actually, let's go and have a look at Moria and see what can be done first. So, the oldies amongst you will remember that this map used to just... This part of the map used to just be completely open, and there was only one flag in here, which was here, or maybe I think it was slightly over, maybe I think it was here. And then we added these little sort of... I don't know what you call them. I don't really... like that. They don't make any sense in my view, these. And then I think sometime in the middle of V2, maybe in 2018, we added this second flag here. Now, the gameplay around this flag is mind-numbingly boring in my view. You get the dwarves running over from here, and they shoot. And you get the orcs running over from here, and they shoot. And then occasionally melee will rush in and attack the flag and get pushed back or take the flag. It's just, it's not very exciting. So I was thinking of ways that we could edit this. And one way would be to have them attack from more than one direction, so it's not just literally like a sort of balloons tower defense corridor fight. Now to do that, we'd probably add another path going this way, coming round the back, and coming in from that direction. But then, of course, you need to ask, well, where do they spawn? So that doesn't make much sense. I'm going to have a think about this off camera. I'm not sure I'm actually going to do this in a video, but I'll talk to the staff and the builders about it, about how we can solve this. One option might be, because these flags are actually really close together, they're effectively two of the same flag, so we could just combine them into one and put the flag here. That might be an option. But as I said, I'll talk this over with the staff and the builders, and then we can decide what to do about this particularly boring part of the map. So, the movie aficionados amongst you will know that these certainly aren't the great stairs from the movies. There are two reasons for this. One, the people building the map didn't care about the movies. Two, the stairs from the movies would make pretty awful PvP, to be honest. And honestly, I think for stair PvP, this is decent. It's decent. I mean, any map where you can just get killed by one hit knocking off isn't brilliant, but it's a necessity, and I don't really have time to completely rearrange the map here. There are a few things which make no sense on the map, which just trigger me slightly, like, why does this go up and go down? That makes no sense at all. I remember a little earlier in 2018 I added this extra way up, which has improved the flag a lot. But I just sort of feel like it's not perfect. One thing we could do is put the flag on less of a sort of teetering spot. Maybe put it down here or down another place and expand out the platform it's on, which means that attackers and defenders can't just be yeeted off the flag with one touch. So again, I'll talk over this with staff. Now, it's not actually on the list, but some of you will remember from last week, I tried to copy over some new lobbies from Minas Tirith, and I failed at that because, well, they were on 1.15, and this is a 1.13 server, and you can't move 1.15 lobbies to 1.13. Now, I have actually found 1.13 versions of those lobbies, so I'm going to head over to Epic Quest now and basically save them as schematics and put them on here. So I'll see you there. Okay, so here we are, back at these lobbies. I'm going to do the same thing as I did at the end of last week's video, save them as schematics, export them, put them in Empire War, and hopefully when I paste them in this time, they'll be okay. Okay, so we're back in game, and let's try and paste these lobbies successfully this time, one hopes. Oops, where have I gone? Oh, I'm in game mode 3. Silly me. So, I'm not actually sure which rotation I pasted them in. I think they're probably facing north. I could be wrong. Let's paste them away from everything just in case. So we go schem, load, and I think I called them 1.13 Tirith. Okay, now let's paste them and see what it destroys. Okay. Oddly, it's only pasted the Mordor lobby, which surprises me. Perhaps I messed up the copy. I'll see you back. I have such problems facing these in. I'll see you back once I've fixed that and tried to work out what the issue was. Okay, I'm back. I've pasted them both fine now. I'll set them up off screen, or possibly another day. It's quite a boring process, to be honest. My least favourite part of this sort of stuff. You basically have to stand here and assign all the walls to their respective flags. Then you have to go around the back. If I can get out of here, you have to go around the back and put signs on the back of these pieces of wall referring to whichever spawn they're related to. So yeah, it's not very exciting. I might get one of the mods to do it if I can teach them. Okay, first productive thing of the video complete. Now let's have a look at the task list. Welcome to Lake Town. Sorry if my mic sounds slightly different, by the way. I may or may not have got up and tripped over it. Never mind about that. Anyway, so the issue here is, when well defended, they can't get past here. Now, you might argue that, okay, well, if it's well defended, then it's right they can't get past here. Not really. I disagree with that. A good defense should be able to put up a good defense, yes, and hold the enemy back, yes. But at the first flag, they should at some point succumb to the attack. The defense as a whole, if it's good, will endure throughout the whole map and they'll win. But just having the map stuck at the first flag behind this gatehouse really isn't good fun. I have added a few things just in game. It's much easier to get around the sides now. It's also easier to get around this side. Just go over here and up there like that. But it's still not perfect. Now, I have a few solutions in mind here. One is, if the attack has gone on here for X minutes and nothing's happened, then an attack from another direction is opened up somehow. This attack rather didn't happen in lore, so I don't really have many qualms about adding other roads of attack. Possibly coming in via the Bard's house, because there are some boats here. We could have an Osgiliath style attack from the boats, and that of course would open up the map and move it further in, so that would be more interesting. But I'm afraid, as with the previous examples, I'm going to talk to the staff about this, and of course the community, but mainly the staff, sorry. Now, let's move back to the task list and see what we have to do. Okay, so let's scroll down a little bit. Obviously the map stuff I can't do on screen, so let's move on to something a little more exciting. These two, I think, and maybe this. So add hero slain by, that should be really easy. Forced Nazgul should also be easy. This slightly harder, but also not. I might not do that today. I'll have a look at it. Scroll down a little. What do we want to do to torture? Ah, yes. Maybe we'll have a look at that. I actually had a look at this off camera a little. I confess I'm not actually sure how to do this. I've talked to some people who know the scripting language quite well, and they've looked at my code and they're also really confused, so that doesn't help. If any of you are script experts, get in contact, because I'm honestly not sure how to fix food here. This bug can be fixed really easily. This, I'm not sure the actual issue, but I should be able to troubleshoot it fairly easily. This is a bug that was reported. I haven't seen it replicated, so I need to ask people if you can do that, and if you can, well, it's obviously quite game-breaking on Moria Gold, the idea that you can just click an iron block and steal the gold, even though it's not there. um, this is a bug which I've only seen reported once, so I'm actually going to dismiss this because I think it was a one-off occurrence. If it isn't, just tell me, by the way. Okay, let's head over to the code and we'll get working on some of these. Okay, so here we are with the heroes file and the Nazgul file. So slash Nazgul, all it does is the player, if they're a mod, triggers these various checks and basically turns you into a Nazgul. So this makes sure that they're on the right team. This just sets their class. This disguises them as an Ender Dragon. This makes them fly. This makes them fly at a certain speed so they can't just zoom around the map really quickly, teleports them to the spawn, and so on. This makes them scream, and this is to do with attacking and healing and respawning, all that sort of stuff, but we don't need to worry about that for now. So let's call the command force Nazgul. This is still the same permission. Then we're going to make sure that we add this little thing here. Actually, thinking about this, I think we can do this in a slightly different way. If we just get rid of all of this and do this, we can effectively... this basically means that if you just type Nazgul, it will give you the Nazgul. If you then input a player name, it will give the certain player the Nazgul. So we don't need two commands, basically. But what we do have to do now is go through some of these and fix this up, because it's no longer just referring to the player, but the specific argument, in this case, the player. But it's code stuff. Those of you who know, who know. I'm not, by the way, some kind of code wizard. I can... script is basically English, but put Java in front of me and, well, I won't know what's going on. Okay, I'll know to an extent, but you know what I mean. Okay, that could have caused absolute chaos. I don't know. Trial and error, isn't it? SSK reload Nazgul. Okay, so you can see I reloaded it here. Now let's just see if it still works properly. We do slash Nazgul. Need to be in the org team. Now, Alex. This is when we use our staff as guinea pigs, of course. Okay, I feel bad if I just, let's just wait till he dies. Ah, perfect. Let me just tell the stuff what I've done. You can now use Nazgul player to make anyone a Nazgul, or just use Nazgul as before to do it on yourself. Okay, that was an easy thing to do. Now, the other thing we were going to sort out was heroes, wasn't it? This has worked well. Now we just want to add the hero slain by message. Now I think we can just be a little bit sneaky here and copy it off the Nazgul slain message. So, should be in here somewhere. Huh, maybe it isn't in there. In that case, it might be somewhere else. I'm just going to have a look through some of the files. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I found the kill message. It was hidden elsewhere. So I think we can just copy this. I wanted to put it in the heroes section, but I think I should probably keep it in here just for consistency's sake. Now, I think... let me just play around with this a little bit. Okay, so welcome back. Actually, off camera, I did a bit of thinking, and I think I will actually edit the current death messages to add in player slain by, rather than putting the player slain by elsewhere, which actually, on second thought, make no sense. So you can see I've already done this for the Ringwraith and the Witch King. Now I'm going to do them for Azog and for Aragon and these ones. So it's quite simple here. I just edit the message. Oops, I don't want to do that. With was killed by and the attacker. So, I mean, it's pretty simple. I'll be back once I'm done. Okay, we're in game. You can see it reloaded successfully. Thomas is actually 2 midgets in a dress. That is actually true. I'm actually quite sad the truth is out, but never mind. Now we see if this works. So we go spawn, set hero. I always forget how to use this command. Set hero. Aragorn. That's not how you spell Aragorn. It is. Aragorn. Why can I not spell? Okay, you can see that. Wow. You can see that went really well. Not. None is actually one of the most famous players on the server. Okay, I'll go back to the code and see what's up. Okay, so it's been a little bit. I had to work some things out, basically. Uh, I think I'm going to. You get to see my whole thought process here. Really exciting. I think I'm going to move this on death message to the other file where all the other death messages are, because it makes more sense, and it should help with. Well, we'll see if it helps. I added this because the attacker is not always set, so it won't just give none. If there is no attacker, it will just give a message without an attacker mentioned. So that should fix some things. Now I'm just going to copy this and put it in the file with the rest of them. Okay, we're in game. The reload was successful. As you can see here, you can ignore those, it was successful. Now we're just going to try and kill ourselves. So set hero, don't need people to murder me. Okay, we encountered a brief amusing error that all death messages, apart from hero death messages, vanished. But I did some little tweaks and that's fixed, so no harm done. Uh, we've done quite a lot actually. I'm just trying to think if there's anything I can fix. Oh yes, of course. In the heroes file, I can actually also fix the issue with heroes armor breaking. So I'll just go ahead and do that now. You can see that the issue here is when the class is set, the unbreaking isn't given. Now, if we look at normal classes, which is over here, and we scroll up to a class example, if we just go, okay, maybe that's not how it's done. One moment. Okay, yeah, so it's not actually done by an enchantment, just by, I think this is some sort of metadata. So I think I can just copy this code over to the heroes document, and that should all be fine. Okay, so I just fixed that bug, which was, where are we? I think it was hero and takes damage. Yeah, so this is fixed now. I'll update all the tasks in a little bit. All I did was this. So, I mean, you don't need to know code to understand what's going on here. If the player has boots, i.e., if the boots aren't air, the boots are given unbreakability. It's not an effect; it's some sort of weird metadata thing. I don't know what's going on. All I know it works, and I suppose that's what matters at this time. I've tested it in game, so now let's just head over here and check what we can check off. So that's been fixed. That's been fixed. Is that it? Surely. Oh no, we've done this. I was about to say, what have I spent the past hour or so doing? What else can I sort out? Leap. I think I'm gonna. Yeah, I'll sort out leap now. Okay, so we're just gonna head up here. Close that. You don't need to know about that. It should be in class abilities, I assume. Oh yes, here we are. I'm just going to rename this because it's not Elven Archer, Elven Leap. make it look pretty as well. Why not? So, down here should be push player forward at speed 1. Is that all it does? Okay, so what we're going to do is expand this slightly, I think. So let's say put that up to 7.9 seconds. So that's effectively 8 seconds. And we're going to slow this down to, let's say, 0.7. And let's see what happens to that now. It could have completely destroyed the whole world. I tested it in game. I think 0.7 is slightly too low, so I'm going to put it at 0.75. And with that, I've actually been at this for 2 hours. I've done quite a lot of screen, not just stuff on here, but you don't want to know. It's boring. What did I just do? I just, if I'd gone crazy, mechanics, reduce sleep. I did that. So I've been at this for a few hours. It's getting quite late. I'm getting quite tired. So I'm gonna give this a stop now. I have no idea how long this video is. It could be 20 minutes, it could be 40 minutes. I'll try and make it 20 minutes-ish. As you can see, we didn't make much progress. This is why I try and do a lot of stuff off screen. Making a video of it just makes everything take a lot longer, basically. It's good fun though, so I'm going to carry on doing them into the future. Just don't expect so many. One good thing is the videos do make sure I get stuff done, and also sets my mind straight sometimes, because I have to explain it to you, which means I also have to explain it to me, basically. So I'll see you again in the next one. See ya.